She died, I think, completely happy, and without having suffered very much.
Is it just me, or is British television taking over our lives? First Bridgerton, now the hit Amazon Prime original, The Pursuit of Love. Have you been monotonously scrolling through your streaming services looking for a show to watch? Have you watched The Tomorrow War 4 times? Have you been opening and closing your fridge debating on whether you want to eat the week-old leftovers or not? Well, grab your bowl of cheese balls and kick up your feet, because do I have a show for you. The Pursuit of Love is a must-watch show. Here's why. The Pursuit of Love is a 3-hour BBC miniseries on Amazon Prime based on this 76-year-old bestseller. We all know how well novel adaptations do, especially for bestsellers. Now that some time has passed, we can adapt this book to a modern TV script and sell it as an original to an audience that has never even heard of the book before. Maximum profit, minimum effort. But seriously, we can tell why the book did so well back in the day. If the show is doing any justice to it, then by golly, we've got the second coming of Bridgerton on our hands. Nancy Mitford's 1945 novel sold a blockbusting 200,000 copies in its first year. It fictionalized and satirized the country life of her talented but notoriously eccentric family at its estate. At the story's center was the unconditional, if not always harmonious, friendship of Fanny Logan, the somewhat ordinary cousin who served as a narrator, and Linda Radlett, the family's beautiful and willful wild child, whose misadventures as a wife and mistress supply most of the plot. In the book's early chapters, when Fanny and Linda are still children, there's this poker-faced savage humor. Fanny explains everything in a no-nonsense manner and gives us all the details of the Radletts, Uncle Matthew, Nancy's sister Jessica, and Fanny's own mother, the Bolter. It's all told through a tragically sad but funny way. No nonsense. Here are the hard truths of their reality. To adapt the book for the TV screen would require a voice and style that took a certain je ne sais quoi. The actress Emily Mortimer, in her first project as a director and her second as a writer, achieves that role perfectly. Her performances of her two leads, Emily Beecham, Fanny, and especially as the vibrant, vulnerable, overly romantic Linda Lily James. The production itself is also luxurious and cinematographically shot. Its portrayal of 1930s Britain's cozy country is nothing short of beautiful. Mortimer generally follows the novel's plot and goes almost word for word when it comes to Fanny's narration, although she does go on to change a few things. For example, she elaborates on Fanny and Linda's relationship a lot more than the novel. It pushes the show in a more direct approach when it comes to the undertones that the book was known for. Fans of the book might not like it, but it makes the plot and relationships more perceivable to today's viewers. Take that in any way you want. The series is set during an interesting time in the world. Set between the two world wars, it's during a time in the world that we really don't talk about. Uncle Matthews, for example, is a World War I veteran who dislikes foreigners and educated women. Yeah, it's kind of a reoccurring theme throughout the series that the guys in the show aren't super likable. But was any guy really likable during that time? The show itself is very feminist and executed perfectly. It's among the few coming-of-age stories that centers itself around women protagonists. The two take some time parallel and sometimes diverging paths when it comes to romance, motherhood, and independence during important female moments in history. It's like a commentary on the fictional treatment of female love and desire. The idea here is that both of our heroines are representing a shift toward a more modern female identity. The Pursuit of Love captures the codependence of Linda and Fanny's relationship, and as with Elena and Lila's dynamic in the Elena Ferrante books and HBO adaptation, you're never supposed to be sure which woman's life represents progress. It leaves that choice up to you. Instead of vilifying one lifestyle and praising another, you as the viewer get to make that decision for yourself. The Pursuit of Love never comes across as the work of a first-timer. In terms of cinematography, it's amazing. Critics gave the show an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it lives up to the hype. But don't just take my word for it. Here are some audience reviews. This superb series captured me from its beginning. British eccentricity at its height, excellent performances, and a terrific script combined for a story that captures one's heart. What imagination and edginess! It's in a class by itself. It's a feast for the mind as well as the eyes. I was so surprised at any negative audience response. 5 stars. I really do think this is a love or hate type of short series, as you can probably see from the reviews. If you're someone like me who loves deep thinking, romance, and emotions, then this is for you. If you're someone who watches things for the actions and huge events in a film series, then this probably isn't for you. However, I personally loved watching this. It's easy to watch and great to just relax and escape from reality for a while. I was quite sad to see there's only 3 episodes. 5 stars. Great cast, great production values, and such is the beautifully judged cocktail of verve, wit, and pathos, it's hard to believe the director is a first-timer. Great use of music too. All around wonderful. You'll either get it or you won't, and it's your loss if you don't. 5 stars. A brilliant interpretation, imaginative direction, and a great cast. Strong sense of period, righteous humor with an underlying seriousness. Having started with episode 1, we watched through to the end. Excellent entertainment. More, please more. 5 stars. Let me make it simple for you. If you're into shows like Bridgerton, Downton Abbey, and Pride and Prejudice, then you'll love this show. It's got that mix of dramatics, raunchiness, and humor that we love. I promise you'll find yourself hooked on the show, begging for the next season, ASAP. Keep in mind though, the series is based on one book, and that book has an ending. Anything past that ending will be ultimately made up by new writers and whatever the director wants, although I'm fairly confident in the skills of Mortimer as a director and actor. Here's the best and worst part of the series. It's a 3-episode roller coaster ride. This can be a good or bad thing depending on how you view it. It could be bad because if you end up investing into it, you'll feel wanting more. I mean, 3 episodes? That's not a lot of time to process. I guess that's why they call it a mini-series. This is also a good thing. It means that you can binge watch it in one day. It's not something you have to devote a ridiculous amount of time into, but rather a boring afternoon. That's the bittersweet aspect of it, I guess. To give you an idea of the plot, here's the episode synopsis. Episode 1. On the brink of adulthood, Linda Radlett and her beloved cousin Fanny Logan are stuck in the countryside, impatiently waiting for life to begin so they can escape the confines of Alconley. Linda, who has lived her life under the terrifying regime of Uncle Matthew, dreams of excitement and adventure. But Fanny, abandoned by her mother and raised by her Aunt Emily, is more concerned with comfort and stability. Then jump to episode 2. Although both Linda and Fanny are now married, their lives couldn't be more different. Fanny embraces motherhood and tries to fulfill her role as a good wife to Alfred, and then it ties everything up with episode 3. Fanny's put out to find that Linda has once again fallen head over heels in love and is openly living as Fabrice de Sauveterre's mistress. The show plays out like chapters in a book. Surprise, surprise. I like to think about it like friends that we check up on every once in a while. It's like you're with them for this part of your lives, then time flies and you're both grown up a little. And then again, time flies and you're in completely different worlds, but the same place. I said it before and I'll say it again. It's truly a coming-of-age series following 2 protagonists on the same path. While they're on the same path, they handle things very differently, and that's the great thing about the show. We will all favor one character over the other, and because as human beings, we're all different. Some of us want to be cool, calm, and collected like Fanny, while others crave adventure like Linda. That's probably why I appreciate the black and white nature that Fanny narrates. It's not the narration of a protagonist or antagonist. It's just a person trying to tell the story, and we decide who's who. And with that, it wraps up the video. Thanks for watching.